listening to your brain on air. The program will begin shortly. Enjoy.
Estàs escoltant el teu cervell en directe, el programa començarà en breu. Llegeix-lo.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Your Brain on Air. I am your host, YBOA Larson. And pro tip, trying to run over federal agents reduces your life expectancy by 100%, as is evident by recent happenings. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy that you're here for the Thursday broadcast. There's so damn much to talk about. If you are like me, maybe if you're a resident of the state of Minnesota, or you're just keeping an eye on what's been going on because you're a good American, you might be saying to yourself, very much like CJ from San Andreas, GTA, you very much might be thinking to yourself, as am I right now.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Ah, shit. Here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. Protests erupting in Minneapolis. What is it, 2020? And more cities after Renee Nicole Good shot dead by an ICE agent. Ladies and gentlemen, we finally got an ID on the woman shot in the head by an ICE agent after she plowed forward in her nice little SUV there. So, turns out this woman wasn't even from Minnesota. Listen here. At least you can tell George Floyd here, he was a resident of Minnesota for a long time. But this woman apparently just got here. She was from Missouri. But you know what? We'll get into it. She was shot dead in South Minneapolis during a large-scale immigration enforcement operation, as you all are familiar with, conducted by U.S. Immigration Enforcement, ICE. According to multiple reports, Good, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen, was driving her SUV when she encountered ICE agents. Federal agents and officials claim that she blocked their path, refusing to exit her vehicle, reversed, then accelerated toward an agent, prompting the officer to fire in self-defense. Videos circulating online show an agent approaching her car, demanding that she get out, and then firing multiple shots as the vehicle moved forward, causing it to eventually crash into a lamppost, I believe. A lamppost or like one of those antenna lines. You can tell. The incident unfolded around 9:30 a.m. We woke up to like a not so good morning, and Good, her last name Good, not good as in well, doing well, was pronounced dead at Hennepin County Medical Center. And the FBI and the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehensions are investigating. Listen, the FBI jumped in real quick on this, much like the George Floyd case, right? During his, it took less than 24 hours for the FBI to get involved with the George Floyd situation. It took less than 24 hours for the FBI to get involved in this situation. What does that tell you, ladies and gentlemen? There's a little bit of maybe we're spinning a narrative already. Maybe the media's already made up their mind in many ways. You know what I mean? Maybe in some ways, and I'm just predicting this, with the candle vigils you're seeing, the crosses, we lost a really good Samaritan who was blocking federal agents with her vehicle. She involved herself in a police interaction, you know what I mean? She was kind of not saying she was asking for it, but she was asking for it, you know what I mean? I'm saying that, you have to be a really stupid motherfucker, really retarded on such a vast little IQ level that you have to think that, I'm gonna involve myself with federal agents with my SUV and not expect them to in any way meaningfully come back at me, even when I accelerate forward, potentially hitting one of them. All right, that train of thought doesn't make very much sense to me for some reason. A lot of bleeding hearts. Even people I talk to, in my real life, I'm trying to, converse it out. You got bleeding hearts that are just going, well, it looked like she was trying to turn away. It looked like maybe she was trying to go around him. Even though she was evading arrest, even though she was, she did a bunch of shit beforehand. She was just trying to get away. She was just trying to de-escalate. It's very curious. It's a very curious interpretation. Listen, I am not saying that I wanted this woman to die. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying that I'm not a police officer, neither are you. Neither of us know, well, maybe you are, but neither of us, and let's be honest, most likely you're not. Most of us don't know what it's like, will never know what it's like to have your life on the line in an instant like that. I will still slam you for bad behavior. Like, let me get this straight. Let me get this straight here. If this person was in any ways like let's also get this clear. They're not trained police officials. They're just hired by ICE. They're hired by federal, like whatever, this federal bureau of shit that doesn't give people efficient levels of training. What do you expect? You expect that you're going to go to this assembled militia. Literally, it's cavalrymen. It's a bunch of fucking schmoes from around the Chicago or whatever area, the Minneapolis area. These fucking nobodies who sit on their couch and drink beer all day. And they're like, I'm going to go defend my country. And then they show up with the beer gut and they get a vest thrown on and they get the fucking the Ray-Bans or whatever, and then they go out and they like beat up your grandma because that's what's paying the bills. That's what's paying the bills. And you think that testosterone big like fucking fueled up energy type of environment is one that you should involve your SUV in? One that you should like personally involve yourself in? Of course you're asking to get shot. That's just like a logical train of thought. What are you even saying? What are you even saying? It's marking at least the 5th death linked to U.S. immigration crackdowns in recent months. Renee Nicole Good, also known as Renee Nicole Macklin Good, was a mother, a poet, and a writer originally from Colorado, who had recently moved to Minneapolis from Missouri. So this was an out-of-stater. Let's be real here. Out-of-stater, clearly didn't know how things worked in town, and got shot like in the Old West. She was a stay-at-home parent. Wow, she really contributed a lot to her 6-year-old son. With 2 older children from a previous marriage. God, you can really tell that this woman had her life together. Oh, you have kids from a previous marriage? Are you calling women whatever? No, I'm just saying that you kind of... you look at people's lives for indicators. You look at people's lives for whether or not there's signs that they're going to engage in certain behaviors. You look at like, oh, okay, maybe she has a disorganized past. Maybe when you look at the bits and pieces that like come together of what this woman's life was before, it'll make a little more sense that she had this emotional, kind of a very emotional reaction to seeing this operation going down. I mean, okay, let's finish out her bio. She apparently had a degree in English and creative writing from Old Dominion University, where she won a prize back in 2020. She was described by her family, I love this bit, she was described as compassionate, kind and devoted, good, had no criminal record history beyond minor traffic issues, and was not an activist or target of ICE operations at the time. At the time of the shooting, she had just dropped her son off at school. Oh, shit. Okay, so, like, which one? I'm just going to ask. Oh, wait, she's stay at home for the one, and then she has 2 kids from a previous marriage. Let me just get this straight. Listen. I'm just saying, this, like, fake ideals, I feel like this woman, unfortunately, was a victim of the fake ideals of feminism, where it's like, oh, sexual freedom is a lot of things, but it's, like, the most important thing. The idea is, if you can have sex with whoever you want, and if you have his kid, you're just gonna go off and you're gonna be an independent girl. You're gonna raise those babies and you're gonna, like... It's not Waitress, you know what I mean? Like, Waitress is that movie where she gets pregnant from the douchebag and then she, like, has a baby girl. And then at the end of the movie, I'm spoiling it, but it's a good movie. I'd recommend watching it regardless. Great performance from Nathan Fillion, all these great actors, whatever. RFK Jr.'s wife is in it. She's very good. She plays one of the waitresses, like, at the diner where they serve pie. And Andy Griffith is in it. Andy Griffith is one of his last performances. He's really, like, sweet as this kind of crotchety old guy, whatever. Point remains that at the end of the movie, she is like, fuck you, I'm gonna leave. I don't want to see you. This gonna be my baby. And I'm gonna raise it better than you ever could. And I'm never gonna see you again. She's never gonna hear about you. And then they do, like, this thing where she, like, walks off in the sunset, and you're, like, supposed to think in your head, well, there she goes. There's this woman who, like, really, she did it. She's gonna be good in the end or whatever. And then you go, like, wait a minute. she's stuck with some other dude's kid. It's most likely he's going to be a deadbeat. He's not going to pay anything. Child support is going to be nothing. He lives in, like, I kind of broke down the movie eventually to where I think the state it took place in was Georgia. I tracked down one of the movies, the highways in the movie that they apparently live on, and it cuts right through certain regions of the Old South, and their dialect sounds particularly like old outskirts of maybe Atlanta. I don't know. But that was my theory. But you know what I mean? Like, this woman, she thought that she was going to be waitress. She had 2 kids from this previous marriage. She went off and had what I believe is a lesbian relationship, because in the video footage, you can see this woman going, "That's my wife," with the car that just got shot and whatnot. So I think that she went off. And this is a very disorganized, like, trackable. I've met many, unfortunately. I've had a lot of time going through life, fellow employees that I've worked with, people I've met in the cities and whatnot, Fargo, Minneapolis, people I've met at diners and shit, like, whatever. People you'll catch out of the corner of your eye, you'll see them. This is a very trackable pattern for some women, unfortunately, is, like, jumping from situation to situation, marriage to marriage, like having 2 kids here, 1 kid here, 1 kid there. And it's unfortunately, I think that many of these women, you'll track a lot of it. A lot of it goes down to this ultimate freedom spirit of, like, I cannot be told what to do. And if a man blows it in me just because I wanted it to feel good and I hated the feeling of a condom, then I'm going to take that kid and I'm going to raise it and I'm going to be a boss girl and he's going to just be known as this fucking loser. And it's like this weird kind of like, oh yeah, sexual freedom, feminism, it's really good. Have as many kids as you want, but also, like, they don't need to know their fathers. They can just, like, oh, go to this marriage. This is new dad. This is new mom. Like, oh, mix shit up. Blended families and whatnot. Like, it's unfortunately a trackable pattern of, if you endorse the ideals that sexual freedom is what feminism's all about, getting out there and being boss girl, just sleeping with whoever you want. That's never a good trackable pattern. And if you don't teach people that the moment you have a child, you have someone else to care about, your emotions don't matter. Your emotions don't meaningfully, they don't contribute anything to the conversation anymore. This kid is all that we got to consider now. All we got to consider. And for some reason, a lot of people, they don't learn that. They continue this pattern of, like, jumping from household to household. They'll take their kids with them. They won't give a shit. The kids will be along for the ride. But it's like, it's a notable trackable pattern. I've met many, unfortunately, women and men like this. Men, rarely they do get custody, but it happens. But, like, this woman, she unfortunately seemed like this type, like a very emotional type who was led by her heart and what felt right. And, like, she saw this operation. She was on her way, clearly, from dropping off her son. She goes, I see this injustice. I don't know what's happening, but I see federal agents arresting a Dominican man, and I need to stop it. Like, I personally, my train of thought goes, this is a federal operation. The people, they might go to Alcatraz for 6 months if they get ABC News on it as soon as possible. Maybe they'll cut it down to 4. But in all honesty, I don't need to get involved with it because that would only increase the intensity of the situation and make it worse. That's unfortunately not in the minds of most people. This woman took her SUV and blocked up traffic with it. She said, I'm gonna insert myself into the situation and I'm gonna make a scene. And she did, and it was unfortunate. A lot of people wanted her, a lot of people at the scene were saying either 2 different accounts, notably one that she was either blocking it up, she was being a obscurer, she was trying to be like, get the fucking, no, take that Venezuelan out of the back of your car, or there was another account from a couple that are just saying she was acting as a legal observer, monitoring federal actions in the area. A GoFundMe for her family has raised significant funds, unfortunately, portraying her as a loving figure whose death has devastated her loved ones. Look, yeah, it's unfortunate. I regret it, but you know, when you fuck around, as the kids say, you find out in the most regrettable way. Let's play this clip from CNN. Why not?
Growing protests tonight in Minneapolis. An ICE agent shot a woman there, witnesses say, in the face as she was in her car. She is dead. He killed her. You are looking at live pictures right now of the streets in Minneapolis. You can see all of those lights. This is a vigil near the site where the shooting took place. Crowds have been growing all night They are chanting, "Say her name." And
Are you fucking... Yay. We're doing it, guys. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. George Floyd 2. George Floyd 2. It's George Floyd 2. It's like fully the narrative. The FBI's getting involved. The FBI is immediately like sticking their toes in. They're like 24 hours right after the actual crime happened. Yeah, we're going to get involved. 24 hours after George Floyd died. Less than actually. Yeah. Let's go ahead and let's talk to the actual person who conducted the tearing apart of the body. You know what I mean? Like, there's very obvious that there's something going on here. Something grander is going on. And there... Isn't it fun that just the Twin Cities have this passion now for like every 6 or 7 years? They have this tendency to just like blow up with protests or just be like, I'm gonna burn down Target Field. I love the energy of the people of Minneapolis. A lot of them, there's been so many Facebook posts. My favorite thing about liberal-leaning people that I know who live in the cities, I follow them on Facebook. So many of them have taken this opportunity to go ahead and really express how they feel on Facebook, and I love it. It's an opportunity on Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, X, Twitter, everywhere. No matter where you're checking it, people are going, Trump! I hate him, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him! It's a fun, interesting time to be alive, and honestly, we rarely see incidents like this. I'm giddy. I'm like literally shaking because I'm living through George Floyd Part 2. This is fun.
We have just learned the victim's name. She is a 37-year-old woman, as we said, and her name is Renee Nicole Good. Renee Nicole Good. She was shot and killed today. And ICE claims that the agent opened fire after Good, quote, weaponized her vehicle in an attempt to kill him, a federal officer. Woo. All right, well, there's a lot of video out there, so let's just show you some of it. Here's the video so you can see what actually happened for yourself. We warn you, it is graphic. Renee was killed. But you see agents approaching the SUV, which is stopped in the middle of the street. They instruct her to get out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Now, according
she
to
does not comply.
Secretary Kristi Noem, then an agent tries to pull the door handle. You can see that part. The driver then puts the car in reverse, which is crucial, and sort of changing direction is almost to go around. She moves forward again. And
I love this. I love that every liberal, they're making the excuse. She was trying to get around. She was just trying to evade arrest. Why did they have to fucking kill somebody who could have killed a bunch of people with her car? Why did they have to stop the criminal? Why do you have to stop the criminal? It's ridiculous. I hate it. It's awful.
The ICE agent who draws his weapon and fires it 3 times. Now, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem calls this an act of domestic terrorism. She said,
that's fucking ridiculous. It's not an act of domestic terrorism. This idiot bitch, for some reason, wanted to be Batman. Or not Batman, sorry, feminist. Catwoman. She wanted to be Catwoman. And she wanted to block up traffic. She literally wanted to be Harley Quinn with her poison ivy in the passenger seat. She wanted to be like, I'm gonna block this shit up, and me and my girl, we're gonna make out a lesbian kiss on top of this car while we block up traffic. It's gonna be hot, and it's gonna be liberal as fuck, and we're gonna advocate for open borders while we do it.
Says there were 3 others of those today. President Trump claims online that Good violently, willfully, and viciously, this is a quote from him, ran over the ICE officer, adding that it is hard to believe he is alive.
He did not... Okay, listen. Because he was vigilant and got out of the way quickly, even though she plowed directly at him, he got tapped with the car. It tapped his waist. You can see it in the video. This is like... Go watch it for yourself, I encourage you. I'm not trying to sell you a narrative. I'm trying to tell you exactly what I observed. And if you come to a different conclusion, I love it, I love it, I love it. Do that. I encourage people to do that because conflicting opinions are what make this world fun. I will be right in a few years and everybody will swing right around to my opinion, just like everybody did with George Floyd, when they realized that he had fentanyl in his system.
All right, now President Trump puts out his own angle of the video to make that point. Let's just show you what he put out there. This is what he's putting out to show the ICE agent's life in danger. You can see, we'll go back and show that to you, that he was bumped by the vehicle. We have video from the moments after the shooting where you do see the agent.
What my favorite thing is that you have these people, they're going, he was just bumped. He was just bumped by the car. I mean, yeah, she was plowing it directly for. He was just bumped because he was quick. What are you so mad about? Civilians are allowed to hit police officers, not even police officers, federal agents with their vehicles. They're allowed to. They're not hurting anybody. What are you doing?
Adjusting his mask as he walks away from the vehicle. So that you can see that there. President Trump says that he was injured and is in the hospital. We have learned that he's been released, which is consistent with him walking away there, adjusting his mask. Now, the Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey had this to say about Trump and his administration's account of what happened.
That is bullshit.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense.
Haven't seen the video for myself.
I want to tell everybody
that's
directly.
Bullshit.
That is bullshit.
Look at that. He's already settled on the narrative. They're already settled on the narrative before there's even been an investigation.
Frey also did not mince words when he delivered a message to ICE.
Get the fuck out of
I
Minneapolis.
have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here.
Now, what happened today is something that Frey spoke about and warned about last night here on the show when he talked about the 2,000 federal agents who were deployed to his city and what ICE said was going to be the largest deployment ever. Here's what Frey said.
This is not about preventing fraud. This is about sowing chaos on the streets of Minneapolis, and that's what they are intent on doing right now.
In a moment, we are going to be joined by a woman who lives on the street where the shooting happened. She was recording as she was pleading with agents to let a doctor check on Renee Good, who was shot.
Nah, it's a headshot, man.
We have our own medics.
Where are they? Where are they? How can I relax? You just killed my neighbor. You caught butter in the face. You killed my neighbor. All right, we're going to speak to the woman you heard her voice there, the eyewitness, in just a moment. First, I want to go to the ground and Whitney Wild, who is there in Minneapolis tonight. And Whitney, the crowd is growing where you are. What are you seeing? What is the tone right now?
The tone right now is resilience. It is a chance to pay their respects to a woman they did not know who lost her life.
Resilience.
From right where I'm standing. It was right on this block where, as you see in the video, she pulls out and the ICE officer discharges his firearm into the driver's side of the vehicle, and then she careens to
kills this
the left
innocent
side of the street,
woman
crashes her
who was
car.
just trying to order McDonald's in the middle of the
Exactly where
road.
that happened, Aaron. When we walked up there earlier, and you can't see it right now, but there was a growing vigil there. Flowers laid right at the place where she spent her last moments on Earth. It was so striking, Aaron, because it was the first time that the public was getting a chance to actually see it, because this was minutes after the Minneapolis Police Department figured out the scene had been processed, and so they left. And the scene was still so fresh that there was blood on the ground. Flowers were surrounding the blood from people who had come to pay their respects to her.
Bro,
there were fragments of,
it's a crime scene.
Of a brake light, it looked like, broken among the flowers. It was, like I said, it was incredibly striking. Right now what you're hearing is chanting. We are hearing over and over this crowd chant her name. We're hearing people speak to the crowd on a bullhorn. This is, right now, a moment of reflection and a moment of protest. This has turned into a candlelight vigil here, Aaron. I think it is important to remember that we are 4 blocks from where George Floyd was killed. This is Portland Avenue. I'm standing right on Portland Avenue.
Yep.
And East 34th Street is just behind me.
Guys, it's almost like history's rhyming. It's almost like history is rhyming. I love it. Don't you love it? I mean, I don't love that people are dying. No one loves that. There's more protests erupting. Hundreds are gathering for vigils and chanting against ICE. They're creating memorials at the site of the place, which, like, I'd assume you'd want it to be investigated before you already settle on the idea that it was like, oh shit, they killed. I understand that they're like, they killed my neighbor. I wouldn't love to watch. Well, admittedly, I do have some neighbors that I'm not very fond of. So if I was this lady and watching my neighbors get shot, I'd be like, Make sure, do another one real quick. Make sure, I don't want to see them. Like, when I check the mail, that's like exactly what I'd be screaming outside the window. In all honesty, I'm just being honest with you. I mean, there's more shit going on in Southern California. Of course, California is jumping on it. San Francisco, Chicago, Southern New England. They're fueled by outrage over the incident and broader immigration raids that have affected citizens and non-citizens alike. I mean, not really. Not. This is very, very leaning in the idea that, like, oh yeah, if you're like just black and brown and you don't have an order out for arrest, you're gonna get picked up. I mean, that's not borne out by the facts in most instances. It's borne out by the facts in some instances, but those are glaringly like one. I'd say that there may be one in every. Oh, I don't know. What is the latest statistic? Let's actually check the latest statistic about what the latest per capita they have arrested civilians. They've got to have statistics on this, right? Okay, generally speaking, the number out of all of the hundreds of thousands that they've done just last year, this is according to their own statistics, 1 in every 150,000, and accounting for the idea that they only did, how many did they deport last year? How many people did ICE deport last year? Just give me an answer that I can actually use. Okay, 605,000 people. So, what that accounts for is approximately 6 people. Maybe a little less. I'm shit at math. Like, yeah, that's exactly what it'll break down to. To me, I'm like, well, that's kind of better than my local police. The Fargo PD has arrested more innocent people than you can shake a wet towel at. I'm mixing my metaphors because it's funny. And all right, I want to hear from eyewitness accounts. I want to review who was Renee Nicole Good, the women killed by an ICE agent. Here's a New York Post article that we can just listen to real quick. No.
Renee Nicole Good, the 37-year-old...
She didn't have an appointment, bitch!
...mother of 3, fatally shot by an ICE agent in Minnesota Wednesday morning, was a stay-at-home mom who didn't show any signs of activism, according to family. Videos have gone viral of the shooting where Good was killed when she allegedly floored her Honda Pilot into a federal agent after blocking them in a residential Minneapolis neighborhood during an immigration operation. Good was shot in the head as she attempted to drive up.
As you are neighbors, of course you're going to be biased. I didn't want to listen to the, what's it called? I encourage you, actually, if you want to hear the direct statement from the neighbor, you can go to CNN's place. It's 15 hours ago as of 1:11 p.m. Protests growing after ICE agent fatally shoots Minneapolis woman. The video is 10 minutes and 54 seconds. I don't want to waste everybody's time by just going through it because I won't have anything to say about it except for that I will take this woman's statement with a grain of salt because I know that she knew this woman. She personally is affected by it. So her account of the situation is going to be greatly slanted in one direction. Baby, you light up my world.
Crashing into a parked car down the road. Born in Colorado Springs, Good, whose full name...
Oh, she had senpaku eyes. Look at those things. She looks like she's really focused. She looks just like fanatical.
Crashing into a parked car down the road. Born in Colorado Springs, Good, whose full name was Renee Nicole Macklin Good, was a devout Christian who took part in youth missions to Northern Ireland as a child. Good...
They pronounce it Ireland.
Had 3 children. A 15-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son with her first husband, and a 6-year-old son with her second. Good had moved to Valley Falls, Kansas with her parents after her second husband, who suffered from PTSD, died in 2023.
God, she really had 2 husbands. Holy man, she really has her life together. She's a really stable, healthy, mindful, careful individual who just loves when men just blow loads in her and give her a bunch of kids. I mean, I don't know what that says about a person's character or their kind of risk-taking abilities or whatever.
Then moved to Kansas City, Missouri, before relocating to Minnesota last year and claimed on social media to be experiencing Minneapolis, displaying a pride flag emoji on her Instagram account. Her ex-husband said Good was a stay-at-home mother. The former spouse, who remained anonymous, never saw his ex-wife as an activist and didn't know her to participate in protests. He said Good and her current partner had just dropped off the 6-year-old at school before they encountered the ICE agents. Video following the shooting appeared to capture the heartbroken partner, hysterically crying after Good's death.
Hey, was you riding with her? Did you call any of your people yet?
The Trump administration tagged Good as a domestic terrorist after the shooting. Today, ICE officers in Minneapolis were conducting targeted operations.
Yeah, if you have a spouse with a temper who tends to be like, no, I think I'm going to get up and say something, be like, shut up. Shut the fuck up right now. Shut up. People are dying. If you have one of those spouses who's like, I'm a little tired of the way things are, and I'm going to get up and say something, just go, shut up. Shut the fuck up right now. Do you want to die? Do you want to die? You have to really get this into your kids' heads where it's like, if you make a fool of yourself by involving yourself in like what you're watching police detain somebody and you go, what do I do here? And your mind is not confused at all. And it goes like, I need to stay out. If you're confused at all in that situation, I don't know what else to say except your parents didn't raise you right. That's all I can say. You got to get it into your kids' heads. You got to be like, you need to stay out of business that's not your own. You need to, yes, there's a difference between standing up for what's right. Do that in court where you know you're not going to get shot in your car. That is the place to make your arguments. Make your arguments in court if you have any to make. But otherwise, it's not Hunger Games. It's not Hunger Games. You're not going to be a revolutionary figure. You will be to a bunch of losers who forget about you in a few years. And in all honesty, I'm predicting this for the future. You're going to see this woman's face on t-shirts, on pins, say her name, all that shit. It's going to be a big show. It's going to be a big George Floyd situation where we're going to do this as like the ultimate. And by the way, they've been laying the groundwork for this for months, where they've said the moment that we can have someone be killed in an operation with ICE, regardless of what they may or may not have done before the cameras were rolling, regardless of what and when they were rolling, regardless of what the woman did to, encourage activity around herself. Let's just move on. Let's just settle on the narrative that everybody's already pushed. I'm just saying, people, have a little more reason around the idea that, some people shouldn't involve themselves. That's not a great idea.
Operations when rioters began blocking ICE officers, and one of these violent rioters weaponized her vehicle, attempting to run over our law enforcement officers in an attempt to kill them. An act of domestic terrorism, DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs Tricia McLaughlin said in a statement. An ICE officer, fearing for his life, the lives of his fellow law enforcement, and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. He used his training and saved his own life and that of his fellow officers. After the fatal shooting, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey launched a furious attack on ICE.
ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite.
Good was killed on her older sister's birthday, her uncle Robert Ganger told ABC Denver 7. Her parents described her as a caring human being who was killed in a stupid circumstance. Renee was one of the kindest people I've ever known, her mother, Donna Ganger, told the Star Tribune. She was extremely passionate. She's taken care of people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, and affectionate. She was an amazing human being. She was probably terrified, Ganger added, saying the circumstance of the death were so stupid.
Renee, God! Renee, God! Renee, God!
I love this. This is going to give white ladies something to do for the next few months. I love it. I can't wait. I've already been enjoying the Facebook posts. I'm rubbing my hands together like one of those Jewish cartoons that they would pass around in the 40s. I am just giddy. I'm excited for all of the takes that you're going to hear from. I can't wait for Easter. Easter's going to be great because I can't wait. I can't wait to get scolded by uncles, cousins and what. I want not even that. I want to go to friendsgivings. I want to go to friend gatherings soon. I want to go meet up with people that I know are going to just have the most fun takes where they're just going to go we're living in a tyrannical police state. I mean, like, you just block up police activity with your SUV. Apparently you get shot nowadays. I don't know. It ain't like when I was a kid when we were getting sprayed with hoses on college campuses by the police. You know what I mean? It wasn't like back in the day when we were burning our draft cards. Apparently people that are even like the old people who are going to be dishing out these takes have completely forgotten anything that happened when they were alive, when they were kids. It's very curious. It's very interesting. But last thing relating to this, and then we'll move on because we have to. This is not the only thing that we have to discuss. Eyewitness accounts of the woman shot by ICE agents.
We want to continue our team coverage now with Fox 9's Leon Davis.
He's been on scene since early this
Leon Previs. This is one of my favorite Fox 9 reporters. He's like, I'm gonna have a snotty nose and I'm gonna talk through my teeth.
This afternoon, and Leon, you saw protesters throwing snowballs at local law enforcement who were there for crowd control, also blocking and pounding vehicles when those federal agents were on scene. You also spoke to some people who gave you their account of what they saw.
Yes, Randy, Kelsey, it's been a long day for many people. When I came here, protesters were asking Minneapolis police to arrest ICE. Now, they were at it for hours. Just take a look at the video yourself. Local law enforcement broke down the barricades and left the intersection as protesters followed, and they threw snowballs at police. Once police left, the community blocked off the roads to hold a community vigil for Renee, Nicole Good. And I talked to one eyewitness who saw everything unfold this morning.
I heard commotion from about a half a block away. I walked towards the scene, and there was a maroon Honda kind of sideways in the road. And people were shouting move your car, you're obstructing the road. And the car began to back up and then pull forward at maybe 2 miles an hour. And then someone started to shout, no, no. And then a moment later, 4 or 5 shots were fired into the vehicle.
But this lady right there, she's just trying to help somebody else. Stop. All right, call the police. Call the police on her. Instead of trying to snatch your car door open, go over there and do the proper thing. Don't do it aggressively.
I love that we got Bill Cosby over here. Bill Cosby in the beard, the gentle black guy. He's just got the gentle black guy take. Why you gotta do that? When you go down there and you go to hell, you gotta handle it like a person. You ain't known it. We doing that book learning so you can handle things with your words. We handle things with our words. We ain't doing that. We're moving on up. Don't you understand that? You gotta act like we're normal now.
How's that gonna get solved?
Again, these are eyewitnesses. There's a lot of unknown with a lot of unanswered questions as this is under investigation. But one thing is for certain, the community was loud and clear on how they felt about today's event, and they're actually still going behind me over my shoulder chanting F ICE. That is what they're chanting over and over again. Live in Minneapolis, Leon Purvis, Fox 9.
Love you, Leon Purvis. I can't wait to see more of you reporting live because this is going to be a fun situation to cover for the next few weeks, guys. You're going to hear about it first. You're going to hear about it here. Come back for more information. I cannot wait. Let's jump into our next story. I want to go ahead and just jump into a person that we need to cover, a person you need to know about, a person that influences the genre of TikTok, less and less so now as the days continue, but he's worrisome enough that I think a lot of people need to know about him. Chris Valenti. Who is Chris Valenti? What's his deal? Why is he so controversial? And why am I even bothering to talk about him when his viewership is slowly dwindling? Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Valenti is a left-wing political commentator and content creator, primarily active on TikTok. He's active under many handles. I've mainly found alternates relating to Valenti videos, Chris alternates or something like that. He produces a lot of, and the reason that he's had so many accounts is because he's been banned multiple times for multiple reasons. He produces a lot of rant-style videos on politics, history, current events. He describes himself as a democratic socialist, a Dem-Soc, and he has ties to the Democratic Socialists of America, the DSA, often positioning himself as anti-capitalist and critical of both liberals and conservatives, often of the liberals for not going far enough. His content is stated focused on history relating to, lately, in a heavy shift toward fiery, foul-mouthed critique critiques of the right, Donald Trump, Republicans, and any American foreign policy. He gained a significant following, over 1 million on his main TikTok at one point, for his passionate, unfiltered, crash-out style that had a lot of leftists finding it relatable or very vindicating. I'm going to play an example of some of his most recent content because listen, he's got these sillier takes that make you just kind of roll your eyes, but he also has these ones that you look at and you're like, okay, these may possibly be damaging to the zeitgeist, the people's spirit. I don't know. That's one way that I'm going to cover it. That's one way that I'm going to address it. I'll play you one of his videos right here.
A man can love his nation and hate his government, and by golly, I hate this fucking government. I am America's son. I am the child of liberty. I am what happens when the only choices I've ever had in an election are Donald Trump and some neoliberal bootlicking cuck, a doormat for the Republican Party, if you will. I need you to understand that I am more of a patriot than you, MAGA voter. I am more of a patriot than you, ICE domestic terrorist. I'm more of a patriot than every single one of you fucking bootlicking cowards who praise the very boot on your neck that hands you a fucking crumb while they walk away with multiple loaves of bread. And you thank them? You thank them, you fucking pathetic worm? I hope you understand that when us socialists get the Oval, we're not gonna go get justice. We're gonna go get revenge. We're gonna round up a whole lot of motherfuckers.
I mean, okay. Can you, as a reasonable individual, hear that and go, well, that's a little... Like, I hear that this is just, like, usual lefty, like, spouting for a while. Then when he goes, when us socialists get the Oval, when he does that turn and he's like, when we get the Oval, we're going to round them up. We're going to round up the lot of them. It's very what? Listen, he's been criticized heavily even within leftist circles and, of course, criticized from the right. He's known for all of his inflammatory statements. He was joked, apparently, about using his political opponents for slave labor, wishing harm on Trump and his supporters, mocking mental health issues in the Trump administration, and calling Trump voters derogatory names like dog people. Listen, it sounds about as warm a take as Joy Behar with, like, the Nazis, put the swastika on the hat. Critics on the left are arguing that it's lacking nuance. It comes across as reactionary, and it's making socialists look unhinged. I mean, name one who isn't. Listen, the gentle senator from Vermont, one of the most useless people in American politics, maybe the history of American politics. Name one piece of legislative body that Bernie Sanders has meaningfully pushed forward and produced. You can't name one thing because he's one of the most useless senators that we've ever had in our entire lives. And for some reason, a lot of people, just because he says healthcare, you shouldn't go bankrupt. Like, a lot of the times you'll just hear him just go, this is a problem, you see. You really got a lot of folks who struggle to afford this, and that's why the government should take care of it. It's like, okay, but then how's the government going to take care of it if they rely on the taxes of said people to give them said services? Are you saying that you're going to already raise the exorbitant taxes on the riches, like on the rich in the country, which can amount to over like 45% in some instances? It's ridiculous. I don't understand exactly what are you trying to say is your grand idea here? He never puts forward anything actual. Vermont actually tried one of his, it wasn't even his idea. It was standardized medical care where everybody paid into it and it was only statewide. Didn't cover you if you were not a Vermonter, if you were an out-of-stater, if you broke your leg and you were in Little Vermont and you lived there, you were entitled to free healthcare, and eventually that collapsed. That whole system collapsed. So, even his state couldn't make it work. This kid, Chris, he routinely posts pictures like the only good ICE agent is a dead one. Like, really inflammatory stuff. Like, really, really... I don't understand what he thinks he's pushing here. I don't understand what he thinks he's actually going to get across. And also, I'd love to mention that a lot of his takes end up being flat out wrong. Let's go ahead and listen to one of my favorites of his.
So Trump activated 4,000 Marines to go fight in Venezuela again.
This was last year in August on the 21st.
Maduro. Just guess how many militiamen Maduro just activated in response. I'll give you a second. Did you say 4.5 million? Good luck, Marine. This is your Vietnam. I didn't know that Venezuela was how you say Vietnam in Spanish. Watch out for the bouncing baddies.
He says that line a lot, I would love to mention also. He's very unoriginal in a lot of his writing. He goes with the watch out for the bouncing Betties thing a lot. Let's do this video. It's his most recent one, actually.
Begin going door to door demanding to see your paperwork. I told you this would happen about 2 years ago.
No, wait, not that one. That's, yeah, of course they're asking you to see your paperwork. That's what they've been doing this whole time. What are you even talking about? All right, what is this one that I was going to refer to? Nah, this is the one where he was, like, hating on the nation.
Hey, friendly reminder that if you're treating MAGA voters equally, you're doing something wrong. You should be bullying and ostracizing them to a point of no return. You want them to hit that point of no return. Hey, friendly reminder that...
I mean, hot take. Hot take. There's one thing you gotta say about this guy. He's got hot takes. He's got... Regardless of how good, well thought out they are or whatever, he's passionate. And he cares about something. What exactly, I can't tell. He cares about something, though. He really does. Overall, I'm just going to put it this way. He's got a lot of supporters. They see him as a bold voice that calls out fascism, inequity, a lot of that kind of stuff. I'm a member of his detractors. I see him as very unhinged. I see him as an extremist. He uses over-the-top rants to, like, kind of pull you in and, like, make you, like, repost it on TikTok because you're like, well, I would never say anything like this, but this guy says exactly what I'm thinking. Like, that guy says exactly what I wanted to say. You know what I mean? It's like Dean Withers. Dean Withers was also one of these punks who, like, he's right now, he's well known for his, Trump just did this, and now he's gonna do this. Like, he has these videos where every time the Trump administration does something, you'll see liberal friends not retweeting, but reposting on TikTok a Dean Withers video of him going, Trump just did this with his buddies, and this is how they're gonna make all the money and screw you over. This is very important that you know. A lot of people don't even know about his career before he was this kind of very left-wing individual. He attempted a career as an online flexer. If you didn't know what a flexer was, you're not very familiar with the late 2010s YouTube. Flexing, essentially, it's the practice of flexing or showing off your immense wealth. He, before becoming a TikTok debater, he routinely used to grift and pretend to be a millionaire entrepreneur to sell his courses. He was one of these figures that was like, oh, yeah, I buy this, and then I'll show you how to make millions or whatever. He suddenly realized that making women wet over supporting the right to kill their kids made him way more money, so suddenly he's this abortion rights advocate, and shit, instead of flexing outside of Balenciaga. If you don't believe me, here's the clip. It's real. It's the real Dean before his political awakening. This is him, apparently, in a car, what it looks like.
While you guys are at home sitting on your asses, I just took a private jet out to LA with $1 million. In this rental passenger seats in a Coach duffel bag. Couple grand in the lap, I'm about to go drop it at Louis Vuitton. Living my dream life. What are you doing? Nothing. I posted that video not even 2 minutes ago, and it already has 2 thumbs down. Your ego is the problem. Accept the ridicule. Learn from the ridicule. Grow from the ridicule.
There you go, ladies. He was literally on his way to becoming an Andrew Tate-like figure. And not to mention, he routinely bans people off of his streams when they actually make a solid point. Here's an example of it.
When does life begin?
Life begins at conception.
Life begins at conception. So if you kill an innocent human life after conception, it's murder. Can I get a yes real quick? Verbal yes?
Yeah.
Perfect. So, do you know what an IUD is, Maddie?
I do know what an IUD is.
Perfect. So, an IUD is a form of what? A birth control. And one of the functions of an IUD, right, is to allow for conception to occur, meaning there's a unique human life that exists there, but then it prevents its implantation, starving it to death, okay? And under your worldview, that is the killing of an innocent human life. I have a question. Is that mother with the IUD that engaged in intercourse culpable for murder?
I don't think that women should be held culpable for murder. I think it's the system that we live be held culpable of the murder. I don't think that the women themselves should be shamed for it. It's the same thing as like, well, if we all as a society started eating people, it's not our fault. That's what we were brainwashed to believe is true and right.
Oh, Maddie got banned by the TikTok guidelines. I'm very disheartened by that ban because I was about to run the best argument on her ever. We're going to go to get that next.
He goes ahead and you can see him click her to end the call. What do you even, come on. Like, really? Nice ploy. He might be skilled in Jubilee clips. He might have, like, very good, like, okay, can I get you to say this? And then, like, okay, well, given this, and then you say this, but, like, this actually, in a very minor logical way, contradicts exactly what you just said. So, would you say that you disagree with your own point? Like, that's his style. That's his exact style. He's got a formula, like how Charlie Kirk was like, define this, define marriage, define gay, define you, define me. It was like that, you know what I mean? But Dean Withers has this very distinct style of like, well, I'm just going to break it down, but I'm going to do it, but in a very, like, respectful way. But, like, I'm going to do it by smirking all the time and hitting my anxiety pen. It's a very... He doesn't seem like he'd be a fun person to have a conversation with or to, like, hang out with. I'm inviting him to the show right now, Dean Withers, if you'd love to come on the show. I get no views. That's the thing, is that you can say whatever you want on this because no one actually listens. That's the beauty. That's why I'm allowed to say whatever I want. No one really listens. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of which, let's jump into the rapid fire section of today's headlines. There's way too much shit that's going on in the world that you need to know about to keep your media diet healthy, so I've collected a jumble of a bunch of the stuff that you need to know about that I really cannot dedicate a whole segment to. I can't write 3 paragraphs for every single goddamn thing, so I'm just going to mention them into the side here for you. So let's go ahead. U.S. forces seize 2 major oil tankers linked to Venezuela in escalations of naval blockade. The U.S. military is continuing the aggressive operations in the sea, targeting Venezuelan crusade ships. Not crusade ships, crude shipments. The fuck am I saying? Crusade ships, they're going to come reclaim the Holy Land. President Trump is also ordering a withdrawal of the U.S. from 66 international organizations, including the UN Climate Treaty. Global diplomatic backlash is intensifying. As a result, mass protests are also intensifying in Iran as uprising enters 9th day with increased government repression. Demonstrations continue across the country. French President Macron warns U.S. under Trump is turning away from long-standing allies. Euro-Atlantic tensions escalate over the foreign policy direction. I wouldn't agree with all of the things that he's leaving from, but there's definitely certain bits and pieces where you look at the numbers and you go, yeah, Europe could definitely pay a little bit more. India's stock benchmarks also plunged sharply amid the renewed U.S. tariff and trade policy uncertainty. Markets are reacting strongly to the global trade concerns. Hundreds are gathering in Russia, accusing the U.S. of creating an acute international crisis of situations after the naval and foreign policy moves. Moscow is condemning the U.S. actions under the tanker seizures and international withdrawals. As though you're one to condemn us on the national stage. Whatever. We might be doing stuff that's bad, but whataboutism. U.S. President Donald Trump is also to attend the World Economic Forum in Davos. Not that one. That sounds like a place in Game of Thrones. With top cabinet officials, the administration is highlighting housing and economic initiatives in the upcoming global address. There's also severe winter storm Goretti disrupting travel across Europe as flights are canceled and the snow is grounding passengers. Weather chaos and transportation impacts across multiple countries. And our final headline we're going to cover before our final story, before I will dismiss class for the day. Thank you so much for being here. Azerbaijan sends new fuel shipments to Armenia as part of strengthening bilateral peace agenda. Regional cooperation in the South Caucasus continues. Very, very fun. Very good for them. Ladies and gentlemen, the final headline of the day. The daycare featured in the viral video has officially closed down. You don't know what I'm talking about? This headline, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm discussing is referring to, if you don't already know, the Quality Learning Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is closed effective January 6th, according to the state licensing records from the Minnesota Department of Human Services and the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, DCYF. The facility gained a lot of attention, if you don't already know, after being prominently featured. It was like the main thing in the video that everybody remembers, by the journalist Nick Shirley, who visited the site and highlighted its apparent empty appearance, the misaligned learning, misspelled sign that spelled leering instead of learning, and receipt of a substantial public funds despite seeming inactive. The center also received approximately $1.9 million through Minnesota's Child Care Assistance Program in the fiscal year of 2025. So, I mean, if business is booming, what reason is there to close? What? The viral video, if you don't already know, it brought up the alleged fraud in the child programs. It showed locked doors, no visible children at several child care centers, including the Quality Leering Center. The state officials initially reported confusion about its status on December 19th. DCYF was notified of the owner's intent to voluntarily close, but subsequent visits found it open with children present. Very few, according to these videos. A manager, Ibrahim Ali. Oh, he's given my people a bad name. Ali? Excuse me. I mean, I don't spell it the same way, but really. He denied the fraud allegations in the media interviews while wearing I looked this up, it was an over $300 North Face jacket. He was stating that the center serves at least 50 to 80 children a day. Goddamn. However, following renewed scrutiny, the owners requested license closure, which was processed effective January 6th, and with no ability to reopen without reapplying. Reliable sources, including outlets like KSTB, CBS Minnesota, and Bring Me the News, confirmed the voluntary closure based on DHS records, noting no direct evidence of fraud tied specifically to this shutdown, though broader investigations into several centers continue. The state inspectors have previously visited sites from the video and found most operating as expected, with a few children present, with 4 remaining under for review. The closure occurred amid heightened national attention, including federal actions freezing some childcare funds to Minnesota, but officials emphasized the decision was the provider's own. This, I mean, guys, let's watch this. Let's watch this clip.
Now, last month, independent journalist Nick Shirley shed a lot of light on the widespread alleged fraud taking place in Tim Walz, Minnesota, including at one alleged daycare center, misnamed the Learning Center. But according to state records, yesterday the center requested the closure of its license. They are now officially closed. Here with reaction, independent journalist Nick Shirley. First of all, you did phenomenal work. Your life has been threatened as a result. Is that correct?
Yeah, it has been. It's been completely changed over these past week or so as people started to defend fraud and come after me for exposing the fraud that was happening.
Well, first of all, I applaud your work. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for your courage in doing all this. I give a lot of credit to you. Let's specifically tell people what you found and how you found it.
Yeah, so at these daycare centers, people in Minnesota have been telling me for months that there was fraud happening inside Minnesota. I met up with this man by the name of Dave who had all the evidence of exactly how much money these places were receiving. And then you start going to these daycares and they have stuff messed up, such as some simple stuff like leering versus learning. And there's no children at any of the daycares, yet they're receiving millions of dollars. And there's just open and blatant fraud taking place inside of the state of Minnesota with all these welfare programs they have set up.
And now we're finding out it's billions of dollars. When you began your investigation, did you ever think it would be that staggering amount of money? And as James Comer said, that's only the tip of the iceberg?
Yeah, well, within one day, we found over $110 million in fraud in just one afternoon. So if there's obviously millions and then billions. They have estimated around $9 billion right now, but some people have said all the way upwards of $80 to $100 billion in fraud.
Well, lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what else to say except for the fact that if the feds are in town, the scheme's got to pack up and leave. I mean, what do they do? What else do you do? I mean, you gotta, when the jig is up, it's up. The Irish will tell you that firsthand. They knew it when the Titanic started sinking. They were like, the jig's up. Let's just go lay down with our kids in the bed. And then they drown. But that's it. And unfortunately, the drowning part, that's not going to come for them. They're going to go ahead and they're going to flee, and maybe Wisconsin will be hit next. I don't know. I doubt that they're going to make any meaningful moves. I doubt they're going to make a mass exodus out of Minnesota. It's already Somalia, and I cannot wait for the renaming of the state to be made official. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to today's broadcast. I had a wonderful time collecting these stories for you and reading them out for you. I hope that they have provided a little bit of joy, a little bit of light, a little bit of fun to your day, maybe a little bit of reality. I don't know. Whatever you get out of this show, I'm glad that you listened to it. I hope that you will join us for Friday's broadcast. As we all know, Monday through Friday. Subscribe if you want more, like if you liked it. I have been your host, Ollie Vogt Larson. Thank you so very much for listening. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you for tomorrow's broadcast. But this has been your Brain on Air with Ollie Vogt Larson. I will catch you tomorrow. In the meantime, bye-bye.